Chances are if you're using ChatGPT, you're using it wrong or you're not using it as efficiently as you could. Whenever I go and talk to companies and when I'm delivering AI training, one of the first things I show them is something that I call the Risen framework. So if you go into ChatGPT with a basic task like, hey, ChatGPT, write me a blog article about yoga, it's going to give you an extremely generic, extremely boring response. You've probably done this before. The problem is, what a lot of people do at this point is they see this response and they decide, ChatGPT is a bit rubbish, I'm not going to use this is not good enough. The problem here is not ChatGPT, it's not AI, the problem is the user. Remember that AI is a tool and we can use it with different levels of skill. Some people are going to be better at using it than others, and the skill we need to use is primarily communication, and namely something we call prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is basically the skill of talking to an AI, and it's going to become increasingly important. Thankfully, it's not a coding skill, so even if you think, I'm not good with computers, it doesn't matter, it's a communication skill. If you can talk to your friends on WhatsApp, then you are able to talk to an AI. If you're able to give clear instructions in an email, then you're able to give clear instructions to an AI like ChatGPT. It's not about writing in code, it's not about mathematics, it's about clear human language. So what I like to teach people is something I call the Risen framework. So instead of having a very basic instruction prompt like write a blog article about yoga, I'll always start with R, which is role at the beginning. This is saying act as a certain type of person. So act as a professional copywriter or act as an SEO optimizer who prepares blog articles, for example. I would start all my prompts with this. So act as a professional copywriter and write me a blog article about yoga. Okay, so that's the first thing we do. Second in the Risen framework is I, so RI, that's the instructions. Right after the role declaration, we need to say exactly what we want the ChatGPT to do. So act as a professional copywriter, write me a blog article about XYZ. After that, we have steps. In this part, we need to give the exact steps we would give as if we were giving a human employee or a human freelancer instructions on how to write this blog article. So we don't just say, write me a blog article about XYZ. We say, write me a blog article about yoga. Start with a really interesting hook to grab the attention of the reader. Give me 3 main body points, each with examples, and finish on a strong call to action, which will get people to subscribe to a newsletter. So we give these steps and we specify exactly what we want to see in our blog article. Following on from this is the E of Risen, so RISE. This is end goal. We need to tell ChatGPT exactly what we expect to see. The problem a lot of people have is they will give instructions to ChatGPT, they'll receive a response and they'll think, that's not very good. We need to tell ChatGPT exactly what we want to get from ChatGPT. Otherwise, how do we expect it to know what it is we want? It's not a mind reader, okay? It's very smart, but it can't read our minds. So we need to say exactly what we want. So in the end goal, I would say something like, this blog article is aimed at intermediate yoga practitioners who are looking to get better at their, I don't know enough about yoga, get better at their yoga. We'd give the exact end goal in our prompt. And then the final step of Risen is narrowing. This is where we give constraints like make the blog article between 500 and 750 words. Do not use overly floral language. Make sure to use human sounding language, for example. We just give constraints and then we narrow the scope of what the AI will produce for us. So we have role, instructions, steps, end goal, and narrowing. This is the Risen framework. This will mean that your prompt will go from write me a blog article about XYZ to something much longer. It might be 1,000 words of prompting, but the end result of that prompt is going to be so much more powerful than just giving it a basic instruction. And this means once you have a good prompt written, you can then save that prompt. I personally use Notion, but you can put it in Excel, doesn't really matter. You can save that prompt and you can reuse it every time you want to write a blog article. So you start to build up a library of prompts for your business. So spend the extra time to make the prompt an asset by using the Risen framework, and then you can reuse that again and again to save your team and yourself a lot of time in the future.